Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kramer. I'm with Brian and Brandman Brandon. What's up?
How's it going, guys? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you guys want to hear something funny that happened to me this morning?
Of course.
So, a scammer tried to get me, claiming to be the CEO of my company, while, mind you, I was sitting across from my CEO.
You didn't say so. You're him.
Mhm.
Point at him.
Yeah, take a picture of him. That's crazy.
So, this person wanted me to get a $500 gift card that I would be reimbursed for for a client. Yeah, send him and stuff like that. I'm like,
I'm a Nigerian prince, and if you give me this gift card, I will reimburse you with gold.
Yeah. So I'm like, are you can you come to my office and ask me this? He's like, I'm in a conference. I'm like, that's funny because I'm sitting directly across from you. No, you're not. So am I sitting here like conversating with your clone right now?
Of course. That's my twin brother. That's all.
It was an interesting way to start the Monday off.
That sounds like good. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. But
you guys get to go see Avatar. We all saw it.
This is the big one that we've been waiting for, right? This is like one of the big ones that we've been waiting for. Has anything really like been on this kind of level of anticipation for us this year? I know there's been a couple close ones.
I've had some things that I wanted to see more, but this still make what $130 million this first weekend.
I think it made more.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I'll check it.
But so first thing I'm gonna do, since we're gonna talk about this, I'm gonna read the synopsis real quick, and then we'll kind of get into the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that stuff. So here we go. Jake Sully and Natiri have formed a family and are doing everything to stay together. However, they must leave their home and explore the regions of Pandora. When an ancient threat resurfaces, Jake must fight a difficult war against the humans. Pretty simple plot, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. I mean, part of the story, I guess, would be part of our thoughts. But I think let's start off with the good, and then we'll get into the bad and then the ratings. So I'll let Brandon, you want to talk about some of your favorite parts or some of the good stuff you liked?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, really, I feel like we really go to Avatar not for the plot but for the visuals, because James Cameron has always touted that first and foremost, and I think from that standpoint, the 13-year wait was well worth it. Seeing this whole new side and this whole new tribe on Pandora, and I didn't even really stop to entertain that when I saw the first movie, that there's other tribes, other peoples on Pandora. So it was really cool seeing this new tribe and seeing like all the underwater effects, the photorealistic underwater effects that Cameron spent all this time developing and perfecting. So I think that was the real star of the show. I think the family element was good enough, and it kept me invested enough with the character of Jake Sully, having this new family of his own and really making his home on Pandora. I kind of like the dynamic between all of them, and even he had kind of you kind of see some of his Marine military tendencies kind of bleeding over into his into his parental habits, just kind of how he parented his sons. That was great. That was really, really cool. It's not really a James Cameron. James Cameron loves his Space Marines. I thought they were, even though they weren't really interesting characters,
it's true.
I thought they were entertaining to watch, the antagonists. So, it was pure spectacle. And I think we need pure spectacle sometimes. I was willing to kind of focus on that rather than prioritizing the story. I thought I had a lot of fun watching it. I had a lot of fun watching it on a big screen in IMAX 3D. I think that's the main way you want to experience it. If not in IMAX 3D, at least on IMAX. So it was spectacle, and it was fun. It was fluff. But it was very good fluff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to go or you want to go?
I can go on this on the good part. Yeah.
All right, go for it.
So I think it was visually very good. I mean, the water was beautiful. I loved the interaction of the people. I love the family dynamic too. I mean, for me, that's big. So, things I always look at for movies are things that I think of. Yeah, I think I fast vibes with the family part.
Oh, it wasn't nearly cringeworthy for me.
Yeah.
I love the fact that so it's not like all 4 of these kids are their kids. So Grace has a daughter and they adopt a kid. They bring her and they treat her like one of their own. They do a lot of different things. They love their children all the same, and I thought that seeing that dynamic was interesting. I loved seeing the new tribe. I loved them not fitting in and having to learn how to fit in. I loved how their tales were stronger because they're adapted to that area. I mean, there is a lot of thought that was put into this movie. So I mean, overall, it was really interesting. Yeah. So go ahead. That's not for me. Good for good.
With you. I guess I got to repeat it. Like the graphics are insane. I mean, that's why you go to this movie. Like Brandon said, it's pure spectacle, and that's exactly what you get from it. But I thought the story was, I don't want to say better, but it had more substance to it than the first one. And which I really appreciated. And like even like Brian said, like the whole family thing. I was like, that makes sense. It was like, he's adopted this new life that he has. Like it I think he considers it. This is his life. It's not like this is my new life or whatever. It's like, no, this is what I should be. So I appreciated like that. I also appreciated like it really wasn't about Jake this time around.
No,
it was about his kids fitting in with this new tribe. So it's like, we had the issue in the first one where like, you have the outsider joining the group and stuff like that, but they were like a completely different species of everything and all this. Here, these half breeds, and the whole family joined this new tribe, and it was interesting seeing that because I think that was a little bit more realistic, than like, here's this human, now he's a big blue thing. It's like, here's these blue things with a different color blue things, when they're the same, but there's slight differences, but then there's still this not hatred, but rivalry amongst each other, like, so I enjoyed that because it's like a lot of people could relate to that, I think, in their real life, which is cool. But yeah, definitely that the story was better. Was it the best story? No, it's not gonna blow your mind, but the story was better, I thought, than the first one. I was very invested in them. I was emotional. He definitely emotionally invested into these characters, where the first one I didn't really care. Like Jake could have died at the end. I'm like, damn, that sucked. This one damn near cried at the end. That and no. And then my last thing is that end fight scene. Holy shit, that it the visuals plus the action. Oh my god, that was one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a long time. Like suspense, action, like it was really cool. But that fight scene was awesome. And then we got Derpy coming in a little bit. He said it's not better than the first film, so a little opposite of me, or unique like its predecessor, but it was pretty darn close to the best film. Insane amount of world building, also for far more visual spectacle than the first. So definitely more visual, but I think it was better than the first film.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with Derpy. I think it's better than the
visually.
Yeah, visually, and just like Derpy said, I definitely 100% agree with the world building.
Yeah, I don't think the first one wasn't unique. I've seen 3 movies that done it better.
It's not unique. You're talking it's the same story of the outsider coming
Dances with
coming
Wolves.
in, coming with
Pocahontas.
I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do it better than you that's been there for the entire time for all your life. I'm gonna come and do it better in 4 years. That's stupid. It's stupid.
So like I've seen that story before, and that's why the first one I don't really care. Like you said, Dancing with Wolves, Pocahontas, Ferngully. Like how serious do you want to get with this story? Because there's a bunch more that have done this story before. So at least with this one, I think the story was a little bit different. Where I'm like, oh, okay.
Was it different? Well,
a little bit. Yeah. So that's where I have. So we'll get some into the bad stuff. Brandon, what you got for some of the bad stuff?
This kind of goes hand in hand with exactly what we were just talking about. The plot really was something that was so thin to the point that at points I almost kind of found it non-existent. Like it was there, but at the same time it wasn't there. And Cameron kind of prioritized, what he was doing visually to create this spectacle for us that he kind of forgot about everything else. My dad and I were joking about this on the way home because I saw it with my mother and father. I didn't necessarily dislike the Jake and Natiri's kids, but the youngest Navi, like a lot of the stuff that hit the fan and a lot of the stuff that went wrong was because of him. And he kept let's do this, let's go here. Oh, Dad told us not to. Oh, look, come on, let's go. He kept doing it, and he kept doing it, and he kept doing it, and it kind of started to piss me off a little bit. I
can't wait for that. Having a teenage boy.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I'm like, 13 years. I'm gonna kill myself or I'm gonna kill him.
One of us got
It was cool to see. It was cool to see Stephen Lang come back, and I was kind of I even thought it was cool with what they did with the character of Quaritch, making him basically a clone in an avatar body. That was pretty cool. But I think that he was almost like a little more one note of a he was almost too cartoony of a villain. Playing a CGI character, which is ironic considering it was a CGI character. It was kind of like a one-dimensional character. Like all the Marines were kind of just one-dimensional henchmen as well at times. So, like I said, James Cameron loves his Space Marines, but at the same time, they weren't nearly as appealing as the Space Marines from like Aliens.
Yeah, no way.
But they were just kind of there. They were kind of a non-presence, and that goes for like a lot of the villains. They were very just one note and very generic. So I think everything other than the visuals was painfully average or kind of below average.
Yeah.
A non-presence.
Brian, or you want me to go?
I think you need to save it after I go off. So
okay.
Let me go first.
Okay.
I'm so interested to hear this. So
I am too.
Yeah, take the stage.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, we got a few comments. So Debbie said it's not better than first because of the length. The second one's about 30 minutes longer than the first one, if you believe it. So yeah, I can see that. I'm talking about the visuals at the time. Oh yeah, the visuals at the time.
Oh, before Brian says anything, I'm not quite sure how I felt about the character of Spider. He reminded me of. Does anyone remember that movie Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen?
Yeah, Tim Allen. Yeah.
He
exactly what it is. Oh my god.
Yeah, he was just. I feel like Brian has something that he might want to say about this. I'm not going to jump to assumption.
We'll get to a lot. I got. Oh my
god. And then, then real quick. So, speaking of, I guess it kind of leads into it. Horror Geek, what's up, dude? Glad to see you. Said Natiri's role was reduced, which kind of did suck. I said that. I also very much did not like Spider. yeah. James Cameron female characters, are better than his male characters.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Brian,
what you got, Brian?
take the stage.
Lay it down.
All right. So, you already have a movie. You got colonization going on. So you have these people who look down on the people that are already there. So we know that storyline. We know what's happening with that. I felt like James Cameron took 13 years because he couldn't figure out who the villain could be. He had no idea. And the fact that they thought right before the war, we took the likeness of the guy and we downloaded it to this little thumb drive and we decided to put it into a clone because we thought we might have lost this. That is one of the most thin storylines I can ever remember ever seeing. It was so bad. Like, really? That's what you guys decided to do? That's what you said we were going to do? Oh, before this all happened, I was able to say all this stuff in this video. I thought that was just so stupid. I thought James Cameron took 13 years and he would have fleshed out better characters. He didn't have a villain, so he brought the same villain for the first one? Really? There's no one else that you could have made as a villain in a 3.5-hour movie. Really?
Yeah.
That's stupid. Then, Jake, they made Jake this colonizer, this guy who was an avatar for a couple of years. They made him the leader of this tribe. His job was to protect that tribe, no matter what was going on. And I thought it's so Western, so individualized to even think that I'm going to just steal my family and just leave you guys with someone who's not ready. Because obviously he wasn't even alive when this stuff was going on. This was a little kid. Like they said, oh, he's almost ready. He'll be fine. And I'm going to lead the people here. Your job was to protect the entire colony, everybody. Neytiri was part of this colony. The fact that she had to leave because she was his wife, I understood. But for him to do that, that shows terrible leadership. It's not just about you and your family. You have to think about everyone. And that's what leaders and kings have to think about, everyone. And I thought that was horrible as far as, the quality of person that I thought that Jake was, even though I didn't like the storyline for the first one. Then we have the storyline of the prodigal son. The prodigal son, the younger son, always messing up, coming back, always coming into the father always brings him back into the fold and always blames the older son for the problems. And then although the older son is doing everything that, he was taught, everything that the parents asked him to do, he's the one that dies. That trope of the prodigal son, and then the younger son inherits everything because that's what's going to happen. Because in this water tribe, the younger son is going to fall in love with the girl, with the chief's daughter. So he's going to get all the prizes, and the one who was good and that listened to his parents is the one that dies off and doesn't get anything for it. So what does that teach everyone? What is it better? It's better to be an individual, and it's not good to think about the whole group as a whole. I hate that idea. So it's like they keep on doing that same idea over and over again. Don't think about the group. Think about you. What about you? And you get benefit out of it. I don't like the way they do that. As they talk about the Neytiri. Neytiri was barely in this damn movie. The mother was barely in this movie. I also hate the savior. I hate the idea that an outsider was the one that was able to connect with Awa. So this outsider is the one who finally was able. All the ancestors were there. This outsider has this was it a Mary Magdalene type of story. We don't know how she got impregnated, and gives birth to this Jesus character who was not of the people. That was supposed to be of the people. You know what I'm saying? Like Awa's been watching over her people for all those years, and they let the outsider be the one that happens to. What? I feel like it's almost criminal for that to happen. But once again, I think it's just because the plot itself is so very thin. And you're trying to base this strong idea off of something that really doesn't make sense. So I don't like the individualism. I don't like the fact that Jake takes his family. I don't like the fact that he didn't. It's almost like he was not there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he wasn't really there as a father to know really what you need to be doing. Be there. It's not about you. It's about you making sure that all of them can kind of get settled in this area. There's so many things and tropes that I kept on seeing and old storylines that you see, as I said, like the prodigal son, the Virgin Mary, things you can see is going to happen in the next movie. You can see where it's flowing. And I just don't think he thought enough into the plot. Visually, it was beautiful. It really was beautiful. I love the underwater scenes. I love the connection that the people have with all the sea creatures and how they're sisters and all that was wonderful.
Mm.
You know, but the fact that they are taking all these other things, I couldn't stand behind it.
Yeah. That before we move on, Horror Geek said which sucks because Naturi was the best thing about the first film. Yeah, you know, she was the future leader of the tribe in a way, you know. Mm-hmm. Though I do think this movie over the first one, I do think that too. But I like whale song by Sue. Yeah, you know what though? I forgot to say that in the things I like. The whales were really cool.
They were
the whales were really cool. Mm-hmm. Cool characters and everything like that. And
the fact that they're so smart. Like they're smarter than you.
Yeah,
we could tell.
Yeah.
This is the thing that tells you they're smart.
Yeah, but the whales kind of is a cool part. But then leading into my bad stuff, the whales were also one of not the whales themselves. The ideas of what the whales offer was a stupid idea. So I was like, so you were on this planet in the first one to get the stupidest name for a thing ever, the unobtainium. Oh God! Then you find out, F that stuff. We don't care about that anymore. We want this neuron gel stuff in the whale's brain.
It stops aging.
Yeah, it stops aging.
But they do what they did with the buffaloes, and they threw away the whole thing body. And just killed off. And gonna kill off everything. That's what they do.
Yeah,
and we're locusts. That's literally human beings are locusts. They can't come and they use up and they move on.
Well, that's the whole. I think part of what he was getting at was like this Western kind of, it's called like frontier kind of thing. It was really just invasion, So, and that's what it was. It's like that. He does hit you because the whole scene is like super sad. It's so sad, and you're like ready to cry for this whale because what happens in real life too, and you're just like, oh, and then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, this is why we're here. I was like, what? Like, you just said the other thing was the most valuable thing, and now you're saying, F that stuff. Now we got this new gel.
It was because they don't have a plot line. They doesn't have a strong enough story plot line, so they had to continue to use the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah,
we don't have a villain, so let's give us the same villain. We don't have some new things, so we will get this new shiny toy.
Yeah, we're gonna do the new unobtainium, the super unobtainium.
Like I was saying, I think Cameron is so like focused and so laser sighting on the visuals for this. Then he's like, "Oh wait, I got a movie to write. I got a plot to write."
I mean, but that's his kind of MO. Is he doesn't know how to make character depth.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he just look back at some of his other movies. Like Titanic was visually amazing, and then it was a super basic love story. I mean, as basic as you can get, Terminator was awesome, super high action. And this guy was, that was probably the coolest he's ever done with character wise. But that's about it. It's like nothing else, came close to like character as that. Then he went into all the sequels. I mean, number 2 was awesome, but after that, it was
one of the best sequels.
Yeah, 2 is probably I think we said it was like one of the best sequels ever made. He is pretty good with sequels. I give you that because I thought this one was better than that, just because the first one was a copycat. At least this one was kind of his own thing, but like you said, it was paper thin. It was paper thin.
He took things from other stories. I said, like the prodigal son takes the Virgin Mary birth. He's just taking things from all these things. He's like, we'll throw it together, mix it in a pot, and Avatar too.
Yeah, I mean, and like one thing, like you said, with Jake leaving the tribe, the whole time I'm like, why? Because you want to keep your family safe, but what about all these people? It was like
you're just gonna leave them, and they're
but
gonna
not
get killed.
also it's like they're gonna get killed.
Exactly.
You're leaving them behind, and then what? I that's one thing I didn't get. I was like, so the guy you're running away from is gonna go there and kill everybody because they're gonna ask where'd you go, and no one's gonna know. So therefore, everyone's hiding the secret. So he's gonna kill. And I didn't get that. I was like, that doesn't make this doesn't make sense. Besides it being like a cop out to them going to somewhere new. You know, it was just like a super cop out, but it didn't make sense. What's his name? The Space Marine getting the upload thing. I kind of like chuckled a little bit because I was like, oh my god, really? Like
that's what you guys came up with.
Like, well, that was also one of the first things in the movie that happens, you know. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can overlook it. But then, like looking back at it, I was like, oh, that was the first of many of these silly things that you did. They're like, and like you said, Brian, like there's no new bad guy. It's just the same bad guy. And then you have the new general there, like so they're not drilling for this material, which for some reason I don't know why anymore. Like you're coming back. And you've been there for a year. Why else did you come back? And then they said like, oh, we don't care about that material anymore. We wanna make this Earth too. Yep. Which she said it one time, and no one said it at all.
Never been back.
You know, and I feel like that's gonna be a Avatar 3 thing. You know, with like the invasion of like non-military people. You know, putting up beach houses and shit and all that stuff. You know, because they're gentrifying, basically, they're going to gentrify the entire planet. And
then don't forget about Spider. Spider got to be one of those bad things too.
Yeah, Spider was kind of weird because there's times, especially I don't think he even knew what to do with Spider. Besides, like, oh, this is how I'm gonna connect the old and the new guy and blah blah blah. And then after that, it was like whatever because they said he was like a cat, like he just wouldn't go away. So I was like, so you really didn't care for the kid, you know? But all the other kids cared for him. But obviously, I don't think Jake didn't. Neytiri didn't really. She didn't give a shit.
Yeah. I don't even remember her talking to him.
She said, I'm gonna stab him in the face, and then she had the knife up to his head. That's it.
Yeah, that was it.
That's she don't believe anything about him. She don't care anything for him. And I mean, Jake gave him a hug, so that was
Jake kind of cared, but he never. No one ever went out of their way to like go save him. He was just like,
you're here too. He can't call him a son.
Yeah,
like his son just died, and you going really?
Yeah,
you little traitor.
Yeah,
he just let the general live. He brought the problem back.
Yeah.
I thought part of me is like, okay, I once they were like, oh, he's gonna be a Navi, and then he's like, oh, we're gonna eat like them, we're gonna live like them, and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, they're doing Dragon Ball Z, where all the bad guys eventually become good guys, and then the new bad guy comes in, and now they're good, and and it just keeps stacking on the good guys.
I thought that exactly that they were going to join. They were going to join the tribe and say, we realized that we were wrong. We're going to bring more military help, and we're going to start balancing out the scale. But instead, they were like, no, we're still going to kill everyone. And everyone dies.
Yeah.
They kill everybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then it's just like some of the other stuff was just kind of like, it was just very thin, like you said, and it was just, and again, like obviously there was a lot of other stealing from it, because like the first thing I thought of with was it Grace's, what's her daughter? First thing I thought about was Anakin Skywalker. I was
how she was just.
I know who the father is. It's Awa. Like, duh. like, because Cameron can't think of anything else. Like that's why she has a connection. It's because somehow Grace.
You missed the tank. It's actually Darth Vader. Darth Vader's actually the father. That's what's going on. She's using the Force. That's what's going on. Full circle, guys. We got it.
Full circle. Oh man, but I mean that was for me like the first thing I'm like, oh, she found a way to like, like You know, and again, you know, same thing when in Phantom Menace, they're like, "Oh, who's the dad?" Oh, there is no dad. Midichlorians. So like, if there's like a midichlorian thing in Avatar world, you know, I'm gonna be pissed. But I mean, that's what it's gonna be. You know, obviously, I don't think that's gonna surprise anybody.
Yeah, I mean, if Grace is still with Awa, you know who it was. It was Awa.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and Awa's like, "Oh, I can." Change her DNA. I don't know, do whatever, you know. Yeah.
I
but
told you to be my thing.
Yeah, yeah. Why? Yeah, you have like people going in and out of the existence of the planet, and you're like,
all
you
and everyone else connected. And what controls the animals? Because when she needs the animals, she just sends them out there. So you didn't want to give one of the people that same power, the ones that have been there for you all that time. You're like, no, outsider. I love it.
Naturi would have been perfect for that with the role. And yeah, like she was barely in it, which kind of sucked. And her and Jake just constantly fought the entire time. You know, they're like, I don't want to do that.
That was the only realistic thing.
Yeah, probably right. But yeah, you know, I would give it to Zoe. The scene when Jake tells Naturi to go. Because I need you, and she gets that face. I'm like, she's gonna kill everybody.
She's such a badass, and that's why you needed more of her. We needed more of her.
Yeah. Why did they sideline Naturi like that? That was probably the most criminal thing. That was the biggest sin the movie committed.
I don't know.
I think there's some other issues. In number 3. Jake and her are going to be back in the forefront, and the kids are going to take a back seat. I think this movie was just to introduce the kids and the other.
I think the kids start to take over. I think we're going to get another time jump. Another 5 years. And those kids are starting to learn how to become, you know, the head of the tribe. They've now totally become water people, and he can do water and fly, and he talks to his sister, can communicate with all the animals, and they're going to be able to start building other things, and they're going to start gaining the trust of all the water tribes and be able to do more things, and then someone's gonna get snatched.
Yeah, that's how it always is. Somebody gotta die. But I don't know. The way it ended was like, oh, now he's gonna fight. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, so you should have done it in the first place. Yeah. I mean, at first I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense because like in the first movie, it was just your butt on the line. Like if you died, then whatever. You know, now I get it. You have a family, so now you have to think about besides yourself.
You have a whole tribe, all the power. They said we're going to follow you.
Oh, so that he's just a plot device and love interest for Kiri. He can burn. He can burn for what he did at the end.
Yeah, he's talking about Spider.
Yeah,
because that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do the same thing with Spider. They're gonna find another body.
Yeah,
and they'll put Spider into the body. They should have used Spider to be the villain. That's what they should have done.
Like instead unintentionally the villain. I mean,
he doesn't hate. He never really spent time with them. He was still there with the few people that stayed, and he hated what they did because he lost his father. Never got that experience with his father.
I get that.
They probably should have used that because that makes more sense than. It's a clone. Look, guys. I never told you about this, but we're just gonna bring this up right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it out of the air. There you go. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know.
That was lame.
I felt insulting. I felt insulted. I left the movie theater. I was not angry at all. Like I'm not saying that this is a horrible movie. I just said this movie was so beautiful. It's a crime. The plot that they gave to it. It's a crime. It should have been good.
Yeah.
It should have been great. It is good.
It should with them. I mean, it was better than for me. That's why I'm like, it was better than the first one because the first one was just boring. This one, it's not boring, but it's also paper thin. So I don't know what's better. You want boring or very, very thin storyline? You know, like I mean, that's kind of where we're stuck at right now.
Yeah, Cameron just focused on the on his visuals. You know,
which is what he does.
He spent X amount of years focusing on the visuals. He probably spent like a week, probably like 4 days, working on the plot.
His ex-wife would be like, "Hey, can you write me a plot?" That's all you got to do. She makes better movies. Yeah, just go to his ex-wife. Make me a plot, and then I'll do all the visuals. That's all you should have done.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
And what's frustrating is, he shot and come up with some great stories. We're talking about the guy who did the first 2 Terminator movies. We're talking about Aliens. One of my personal favorite action comedies, True Lies. So,
True Lies.
Oh, that's right. True Lies.
Yeah. So when he wants to bring it story-wise, he can. We know he can.
He was like, I'm going to make the most beautiful thing ever and make it not make sense.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's not that it didn't make sense.
It's just very flimsy. It doesn't make sense that all that happened. And you pull stuff that wasn't there. You just made it appear like it was a magic trick.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you I had this, but here it is. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, I don't know. Is the next one Mind Control? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, what? It seems like they keep retroactively. If they're gonna do something like that, what else are they gonna do? Like, and we added this in your DNA, and you turn back to human. Now you're a transformer. I don't fucking know.
I'd be surprised if not even Cameron knows what the story is for the next one, even though it's done
filming.
But it's done filming, but
he still doesn't know what the story was. He goes, what?
That didn't really save anything story wise with the second one, did it?
Yeah. Can you imagine people going to him like, that didn't make sense? They don't care if it makes sense. It looks too good.
Yeah.
He's going to make us $2 billion. Shut up about making sense.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I'm going to fill in the blanks during the reshoots.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That's good.
And then Horror Geek said, with what was his name? Syria, yeah, okay. Which is Bailey Bass's character. She's the new tribe person. Being on the poster, I can definitely think the new cast will take over. I don't know. We'll see.
They kill somebody. Like Nateri is probably going to die.
I hope not.
If not 3, probably 4, and Jake is probably going to die in 5, and then the prodigal son who finally gets it, is going to take over and win the war.
After screwing up everything and putting everyone into the line of fire in this one.
Yeah.
You little jackass.
But he's so much like his dad. That's what I felt. I'm like, you don't listen just like your dad. So
exactly. You're just like him.
Because in the first one, Jake didn't listen to anything.
Yeah. True.
Are we going to rate it now, guys?
By the way, it's crazy to think that Kitty, the adopted daughter, was actually played by Sigourney Weaver as well. That was crazy. That's insane. That's so insane to me.
Yeah, it's like not only we're gonna make a weird Virgin Mary, we're also gonna do exact same voice.
Yeah, well, a 70-something-year-old woman playing a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah,
crazy to think.
Although she didn't do too bad because that whole like, hey, come check this out, like that whole like teenage girl attitude.
Like it was. Okay. Yeah, she did great. Like, it was.
But it was funny because you can hear the old lady voice sometimes come out of her, which I don't know if that's what they were going for. I don't know, like old soul and a young girl. I don't know. One last thing, I hate when movies don't end, because this had an ending. There's at least a handful of storylines that were wide open because it's going into 3 and 4. That always irks me. It's like, I'm here to see a movie and I want to see this movie, but this movie is not finished because it's going to go into at least 2 more movies.
No, it's going to have their own 5. There's going to be an Avatar every 2 years. Every 2 years until 2030.
Yeah. So, so it left a lot of storylines open, which kind of is annoying. But it is what it is. It's he's trying to make a universe, I guess, like you said, every 2 years until the end of time.
Yep.
So, all right. So that being said, let's get on to our ratings. Where are we at? So here at Spoiler Kings, we do now, later, never. Keep it nice and simple. Now means you got to go see it right now or you are missing out. Later means you can wait till it's at home, watch it at home. And then never means just skip it. It's not worth the money. That being said, we'll keep the order going. Brandon, what you think?
I can give this, I can't say a solid now, but I could give it like a reasonable now. It's good visually. It's good just in terms of just sheer entertainment spectacle. As long as you really know what you're getting yourself into. I think after 2 Avatar movies, we know not to expect too much story-wise and just have fun on a very big screen. Watch it on a very big screen if you're going to watch it. If 3D is your thing, watch it that way as well. But just as long as you know what you're getting yourself into, you'll have a fun enough time. So I'll say a decent enough now.
Okay. Brian, you want to go?
All right. So visually, I'm gonna give it a now. Visually, it's amazing. I love everything. The plot is, I'm almost say never, but knowing the time of the year this is, at Christmas time, you have time to be with your family. Why not go see this? I'm gonna give it a now, but know that I don't love the movie. And don't hate it either. But it's good enough to go see now. Just you don't have to drop everything right now. You can wait till Christmas weekend when you ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a now as well, but man, see, I don't know. That's what the whole like later thing is too, because like I feel like you can wait until it's out a little bit, but
you can wait if you want to see it in the movie theater. You want to
have to see it in theater,
and that's why it has to be a now.
Yeah, it has to be the now just for that, because you have to see it in the movie theater. It's not going to have the same hit at home. It's not. Like Avatar 1 at home, I watched maybe once. But Avatar in theater, I saw it like at least twice, I think. This one I'm probably going to see again because it was just so visually great. I saw it in Dolby. So I saw it in Adobe 3D. So that's where the screen is just insane. It looked great. And then it's shot in a higher frame rate. I think it's 48 FPS, which makes it even more like lifelike, I guess. I don't know. But that just changed it up. So not only you had 3D, but with this crazy high frame rate where most movies are about 24 and this is double that, so it visually, oh my god. And that's why you go see this movie. Same thing with the first one. It's gonna be a storyline where you can easily follow, and then you're just gonna sit there and be like, ooh, that looks amazing. And when the bullets were getting shot at you, you're like dodging in your seat because I'm like, damn. but yeah, it definitely now, because you have to see it in theaters. Definitely 3D. If you don't like it, I don't like 3D. The last time I saw a 3D movie was the first Avatar. So that's how much I don't like 3D, but this one for sure 3D 100%. So, and then we got a comment. And then Horror Geek, for a 3-hour film, I was kind of surprised it got an A for cinema score. Yeah. Over a 3-hour movie, 3 hours and 13 minutes. So
yeah, it was long.
For me, they could have cut at least 30 minutes.
Easily,
at least easy without even trying. You could have cut 30 minutes, but James Cameron's got to, be James Cameron.
So as far as the Rotten Tomatoes go, so we got the critics gave it a 78%, and the audience gives it a 94%. I'm leaning towards the crit. I'm probably at a 70.
70. Wow.
Yeah, I'm probably at 70, and that's mostly because of the visuals are like 100. The visuals are really, really good, but I did not like the storyline at all. If obviously we know that with what I said, but it could have been great. I like the characters. I just felt like they should have made the story better. But those characters, everything that they had, the new characters are great. I don't even mind the kids. I don't mind the kids being the stupid trope that kids have to be dumb and parents just don't understand and all that stuff. I didn't even care about that. I don't care. Some people say it was ageist because they don't listen to anything, that all adults are stupid. I don't care anything about that. I just think it should have been a better storyline. Just better.
A little more meat to it.
Something.
But I'm probably somewhere in the low 80s. if you got to put it in there. But I definitely probably closer to the critics. 94 is a lot.
Yeah,
that's
it's
really
more than what this deserves. I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably like a 79, 80 for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But and then also obviously we got to talk about box office, which I think we talked about in the beginning, and I looked it up. So domestically, it brought in 134 mil.
Yeah,
which is really great. Worldwide, 441 mil worldwide.
It's 57 million in China.
Yeah,
57.1 million in China.
Yeah. So, it was crazy. That obviously what the 16th, so it was Friday, 53 mil. And then that Saturday 44, Sunday 36. So it'll probably take throughout the week. It might take a little bit of a dip, and then next Friday, I wouldn't be surprised. Brian, you said by the end of the year it's going to hit a bill.
Yep. Oh, easily.
We're
talking about
say
Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah,
with Christmas and New Year's weekends, it's going to make a bill easy.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think next weekend. Holy crap! Next weekend is Christmas. So
Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people are on their winter breaks. So a lot of people are on vacation too from their job, spend time with their kids. So during this week, usually you see a big drop in movies during the week, just because people are at school and work. Now they're not. So I mean, I think it's still going to take somewhat of a hit, but not the normal kind of hit. But
I think next week, it makes more money this weekend. I think it makes more money.
Yeah, I'm saying just during the week, it's going to be okay. And then the weekend, it's a good chance it can hit a bill.
I think we could be on next Monday. We could be talking about next Monday. We'll be on the show talking about, can you imagine if we hit a bill already?
Yeah.
And so the budget was $350 million, guys.
Yeah.
It broke even in 3 days.
Yeah.
It broke even.
Yeah. And some, you say, so yeah, it's already in the profit range after the first weekend.
Yeah. Already $400 million. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's gonna make over a bill.
Oh yeah. No doubt. Yeah. Cameron's gonna be eating very, very good. As is Fox.
Yeah. I said, James Cameron films typically have amazing legs.
Yep.
They usually do. Because he makes visually great films.
Yeah. Visuals are his game. No one does it like him. That's always been his thing. I cannot say a bad thing about him from a visual standpoint. The man always delivers. Like we've touched on multiple times during this conversation. Just if he stepped it up, a great deal in terms of writing and characterization, and made that a lot more solid, I'd be a lot happier with it. Yeah. I'm confident Brian would too. I'm confident you would too.
I definitely would. I mean, that's all I asked for.
But I mean, definitely, I knew they were going to hit the tropes. They were going to hit those tropes of colonialism and white savior stuff. Well,
I hate that, but it is what it is.
They're going to hit that.
And then we add this random character spider, friggin' wild thornberries over here.
That's what I thought of. Yes.
Just there just for the sake of being there.
God, he even stole that.
I told you. Like, he literally just took some plot lines from everyone. Like, all right, here's a movie.
Yeah. He even did the Simpsons thing where, like, you have like too many fingers. It's like that thing, because that was the big Simpsons thing. But but cool, man. Anything else, guys, before we move on?
I'd say that about wraps up my complete thoughts for Avatar.
Me too.
It was decent enough. It just could have been a lot more. It was great visually. It just could have been a lot more.
Yeah. 13 years, the story should have been more solid.
Yep.
Exactly. Granted, for me, better than the first storyline, but not where it should have been after 13 years working on it. But it is what it is. But cool. If you're watching our replay, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about Avatar: The Way of Water. How many times did you see it? Did you like the visuals? Did you not like the visuals? Did you not like the story? Let us know. Are we wrong? Are we missing something? With the story, maybe, is it genius?
Maybe something that you guys thought was the most awesome thing ever.
Yeah. Maybe. So just let us know in the comments. And make sure you hit the like button so we know you like our reviews. We try to give you a couple reviews every week. But cool. And if you're watching our replay, stick around. We're going to hang out for a little bit and play a little mini game. But that is it for this review of The Way of Water. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys in the next review.
Thanks, guys.